In this video, we're delving into the scary case of Daniel Printz, a serial killer who caused fear in the quiet town of Travelers Rest, South Carolina. His way of killing was so terrifying, it'll send chills down your spine. This story will make you question how well you know your neighbors. We're about to enter the twisted mind of a monster. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video about the infamous serial killer, Daniel Printz. Get ready to explore the twisted thoughts of a serial killer. Daniel Printz haunted the city for more than 10 years, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. He was a master at changing his appearance, making it hard to catch him. The media called him the chameleon killer for his skill at blending in. But who was Daniel Printz? What pushed him to commit such awful crimes? These are the questions that still trouble investigators and true crime fans. So get ready to join me on this journey into the dark world of Daniel Printz. Let's uncover his secrets and try to understand this monster's mind. Printz was born on December 15, 1969, in Michigan. He grew up in suburban Detroit and later moved to North Carolina. He worked as a handyman, skilled in various trades like carpentry and plumbing. Before his murder conviction, Printz had a criminal record, including a 1997 conviction for kidnapping and assault. He served time in prison but was released in 2009, and his parole ended in 2011. While neighbors saw him as helpful and friendly, some of his former girlfriends and acquaintances described him differently: controlling, manipulative, and possessive. Some even reported incidents of domestic violence and harassment. Investigators believe Printz may have killed more than 5 women, and they're looking into other cases connected to him. During the trial, despite leading law enforcement to the bodies of his victims, Printz didn't show any remorse. In fact, reports suggest he smiled and waved at the victims' families as he was sentenced to life in prison. One of Printz's victims was Edna Suttles, an 80-year-old from Travelers Rest, South Carolina.
Pretty well known in the northern part of this county. She was a bail bonding agent. She was a tough lady, street smart, had a great reputation here in our area.
She was kind and gentle, undeserving of such a tragic fate. It all began on August 28, 2021, when Edna didn't show up for work.
Greenville County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
The thing is, a fitter was supposed to show up to stay with my mom today, and she's in her 80s, and she didn't show up. We've come to her house, and we can't get nobody to the door or anything. Her name is Edna Suttles. Vic's not like her. She shows up like clockwork. So something's wrong.
The search for Edna began, but little did anyone know she had encountered the chameleon killer the day before, on August 27th. Daniel Printz drove from Bostic to Travelers Rest, where he met Edna at a Food Lion store. He bought a 4-pack of yogurt, and then they went back to Edna's home. Later that day, surveillance footage showed Printz moving Edna from her vehicle into his in the Food Lion parking lot. She appeared visibly sedated and helpless in the hands of her captor. Printz then drove Edna to a nearby Best Western hotel, where he wiped down the inside and outside of his vehicle, likely to remove any evidence. He then drove Edna back to Bostic, where she was never seen alive again. The timeline of events is both eerie and heartbreaking. From the moment Printz pulled into the Food Lion parking lot to the time he drove away with Edna's lifeless body, every second of that day was filled with terror and despair. Edna Suttles deserved so much better than this. She deserved to live out the rest of her days surrounded by love and warmth. Instead, she met a tragic end at the hands of a heartless killer. The memory of Edna will never be forgotten, and we must work together to ensure that justice is served for her and all of Printz's other victims. The details of Edna's abduction and murder are highly disturbing. It's hard to fathom the pain and suffering that she must have endured at the hands of Printz. The fact that he showed no remorse for his actions is a testament to his depravity and lack of empathy. Thankfully, law enforcement officials were able to catch Printz and bring him to justice. On September 9th, he was arrested on a charge of grand larceny for taking Edna's vehicle from his home in Bostic. During a search of his home, investigators found multiple guns and electronic devices, leading to additional charges. As the trial for Printz moves forward, we must not forget the innocent victims who lost their lives to his senseless violence. Edna Suttles was a beloved member of her community, and her memory will live on in the hearts of those who knew and loved her. As the investigation continued, a civilian reported seeing a box used for raising bees in a remote part of Printz's property. Inside the box, investigators found Suttles' keys and purse, as well as rope, zip ties, medication, rubber gloves, and an empty yogurt cup containing traces of lorazepam, tramadol, and cyclobenzaprine. Confronted with this evidence, Printz finally admitted to wanting to come clean and disclose his sins. He led investigators to Suttle's body, which had been buried on a nearby property in Rutherford County. Printz has since been linked to the deaths or disappearances of 3 other women: Nancy Rigo, Dolores Sellers, and Leigh Goodman. In the course of the investigation, investigators found Rigo's illegal documents and bank cards, as well as pill bottles with her name on them, prescriptions for the same 3 drugs found in the yogurt cup at Printz's home. Printz had previously been convicted of kidnapping a woman in Michigan in 1997 and was sentenced to 13 to 30 years in prison. He was released in 2009, and his parole was terminated in 2011. Dina J. King, a U.S. attorney in North Carolina, spoke about Daniel Glenn Printz's trial, stating that he's accountable for killing multiple women and causing immeasurable pain to their families. Keeping him in prison for life is a fair consequence for his actions. This case sheds light on the hidden dangers and the crucial work of law enforcement to catch criminals. Daniel Printz committed terrible crimes that resulted in the loss of innocent lives, including 80-year-old Edna Suttles from Travelers Rest, South Carolina, in August 2021. He's also suspected of killing 3 others in North Carolina. Printz used various methods to harm his victims, such as suffocation, strangulation, and drowning. Reports suggest he would tie up his victims with zip ties before committing these atrocious acts. His approach involved gaining the trust of his victims before betraying them, which is unimaginably frightening. It's hard to imagine the fear his victims experienced in their final moments, struggling for breath while feeling helpless. Printz seemed charming to those around him, making it even more disturbing that he deceived people for so long. However, the justice system reached a verdict in his case. On Wednesday, United States District Judge Donald C. Coggins Jr. accepted Printz's guilty plea, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of appeal. Printz's pattern of terror started years ago, targeting victims by luring them into a false sense of security, drugging, and kidnapping them. Many of these women were vulnerable and easily targeted due to their circumstances. Despite committing terrible crimes, Printz managed to evade capture for many years. Law enforcement faced challenges in connecting his crimes due to a lack of physical evidence. It wasn't until September 9th that deputies arrested Printz for stealing Suttle's vehicle at his home in Bostick. A search of his home revealed multiple guns and electronic devices, leading to additional charges for violating state firearms laws. During the court proceedings, witnesses shared horrifying details of Printz's crimes and the profound impact on the victims' families. Finally, justice has been served, bringing some solace to the families, knowing that Printz can never harm anyone again. Attorney Ellis, representing the prosecution, expressed gratitude for the court's decision, acknowledging that it may offer a small measure of closure for the victims' families. Despite the guilty verdict and life sentence, the lasting effects of Printz's crimes will be felt for years. Susan Forensic, a special agent from the FBI, described Printz's actions as despicable, deserving the severe penalty handed down by the court. While the sentence can't bring back the victims, it is hoped that their friends and families find peace in the memories of their loved ones. The case of Daniel Printz serves as a reminder of the dangers in our communities and emphasizes the importance of staying vigilant for the safety of ourselves and our loved ones. It also highlights the resilience of the human spirit, showcasing the ability of families to endure even the darkest times and emerge stronger. In the end, the case serves as a tragic reminder of the evil that can exist in the world, demonstrating the depths of human depravity and the devastating impact on innocent victims and their families. While we may never fully understand why individuals commit such atrocities, finding solace in the delivery of justice reinforces society's intolerance for such behavior. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more content like this.